ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Can we slow it down a fan? Hare Krishna. In this senior class, in the last many weeks, as you all know, we have been discussing especially on one theme of dealing with different types of devotees. We began with how to do guest reception, for how to receive guests. We were also discussing about what are the symptoms of a Kanishta devotee, neophyte devotee, and how we should not remain stuck on a neophyte platform. We have to rise above neophyte platform. Actually, in order to do that, first of all, we have to be aware of what is neophyte platform. Difference between archana and bhajana, and what is the wrong outlook of a Kanishta adhikari, we discussed it. And then, subsequently, the following weeks, we were discussing about dealing with how the juniors should deal with seniors, how should a person deal with a spiritual master, how should he deal with different spiritual masters who are godbrothers of one's own guru. Then we were discussing about how should a senior devotee see a junior devotee, and how to deal with equal friends in Krishna consciousness. Actually, these subjects are oceanic. I feel we have done whatever little justice we could do in these subjects, and we may have many questions which will get eventually clarified as we keep hearing and studying the scriptures. Today, I am intending to speak on giving mercy to less advanced devotees, which means Ishware tadadineshu balisheshu dvishachchu cha prema maitri krivopeksha yakkarauti sa madhyamaha. A madhyama devotee should consider the devotees as his real friends, Krishna as his object of love, and then there are two more said. Balish means those who are innocent people. How to deal with them, how to give compassion to them, Krishna conscious mercy to them. And how we should deal with non-devotees. So, it is also important to speak a few words on that. So I am planning to devote a part of the class for that, and some questions have come from some of you, which I will try to answer in today's class. We are reading from the book Vaishnava Behavior and 26 Qualities of a Vaishnava by His Holiness Sachupdas Maharaj. And this is page number 42. Giving mercy to less advanced devotees. The most obvious kind of less advanced devotee is the newcomer. He doesn't know the Vaishnava philosophy well and is as yet uncertain in his commitment. See, these are the two things for a newcomer. For a very neophyte devotee, which means he is a newcomer, he doesn't know Vaishnava philosophy properly. And his commitment is very minimal. Or he doesn't even know that he has to become committed. So based on these two things you can know. Like you will find when you start a positive thinker course, boys slowly start coming in, trickling in, and they are more or less looking for, what is here for me. They appreciate prasad, they appreciate kirtan, they like it. Now they are thinking whether I should become a part of these devotees or I should continue to maintain my old material friendships. So not yet decided. So they are not having a full understanding of what is devotional service, even theoretically. And as far as commitment goes, yes, if there is some holiday, they may come and wash pots if you tell them. But as such, they don't know the glory of Krishna Seva, devotional service, as of yet. And they have many doubts lingering in their minds. All the devotees should help such a neophyte in any way possible. Persons who have spent years in Krishna consciousness movement but who have remained materially attached may also be less advanced devotees. Here he is talking about another category. Somebody has spent 4 or 5 years in Krishna consciousness. Do you have experience? Sometimes a boy is in second year of engineering and he becomes a very advanced and serious devotee. Comes to 16 rounds and stays in the voice and is fired up, and even older devotees get a lot of inspiration by him. And then sometimes he goes to follow up finally a devotee or a working devotee, who came to Krishna consciousness many years ago but has not made tangible Krishna conscious progress. And his material attachments can be very clearly seen, self-evident. Like he is still having attraction to go to movies, and he still has no inclination to come for Mangalarati or weekly programs. Occasionally he may come for a Prerana program if you call him. And he is not serious about his going back to Godhead. But he is not inimical to devotees. He doesn't mind coming occasionally and eating prasad. So, such a person who has spent many years in Krishna consciousness but without making advancement, like the boat is anchored to the bank of the river. So, Bhakti Saraswati tells a story how, once a marriage party was sitting in a boat and the boatman covered all the sides of the windows of the boat with a cloth so that chill wind will not come. So everybody went inside the boat and sat, the whole marriage party, and the boatman started rowing the boat all night. And next day morning, when the sun rose in the east, all the elderly gentlemen, they came out of the boat and they started yelling and shouting at the boatman, "What have you done? All night you are rowing, but why we have not reached the destination?" Because the anchor was not removed. So, Bhakti says, if you are materially attached, then we spend many years in Krishna consciousness, still the taste for material enjoyment is not gone. It is lingering. And a person is not eager or enthusiastic for hearing about Krishna or chanting, participating in spiritual programs. still he is sticking his neck out to the window looking for sense gratification. So they are also called neophyte devotees. Vaishnavas are merciful to less advanced devotees, especially when they detect a spark of sincerity. And when they see that the less advanced devotee is at least convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotees are so kind that sometimes even when a fallen devotee is rejected by the Supreme Lord, they still try to engage the devotee in devotional service so that he may become rectified. Lord himself may sometimes be very hard, writes Srila Prabhupada, but the devotees are always kind. Thus Kala Krishna Das received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda, Mukunda and Damodar. Here Prabhupada says a very interesting thing. He says, when we see some devotee has not removed the anchor of material attachment and he is clinging on to material bodily enjoyments, although he has spent 4 or 5 years in Krishna consciousness, one type of attitude could be, just look at this attached fellow. He is like a Indra pig in the ditch, who wasn't willing to come out of the ditch and go back to heaven. I think I have to purify this fellow. Look at his attachment. Actually, this kind of attitude is not very good. Because it is more in a critical mode while looking at them. Our very outlook at them is like, gee, just see you. What is the use of your being a so-called devotee? It is better to be a non-devotee. Instead of making a show as a devotee, occasionally wearing tilak and dhoti kurta and coming and dancing and the rest of the time leading your materialistic living. So, if a madhyama adhikari has no compassion for such devotees and the outlook of a senior is one of criticism, one of ridicule, then the less advanced devotees run away. They sense the attitude, they smell the attitude, so they will fear. Or what do they fear? They fear ridicule, or they fear scolding, or they fear that I will be belittled. So they don't feel very warm, they don't feel wanted, so they go away. That is why he is saying here, Vaishnavas are merciful to less advanced devotees, especially when they detect a spark of sincerity in them. And what is that spark of sincerity? Because they say that yes, he may want to, he may be still going to his material relatives and friends for this marriages, that marriage and everything. He may still be in a mode of increasing his material luxuries and comforts and enjoyments, switching from one less paying job to high paying job, working 14 hours a day. So you may get fed up seeing him becoming more enthusiastic in material life. But there is one good quality. What is it? He doesn't deny Krishna as supreme. He accepts Krishna as supreme. And he also is willing to perform some type of devotional service, assist the devotees in some type of service. So we should be sympathetic to such devotees, he says. Even if Krishna rejects such devotees, the devotees are more compassionate, he is saying. For example, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna vinna vichalayet, he says. Those fellows who are still delighting in sense gratification, leave them behind. They will get sufficient kicks and they will come back. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita. But a devotee says, Krishna, I will try to bring him right now only. Because once he goes to sense gratification, I don't know how many million lifetimes he will be struggling in this ocean of samsara. So, let me try my best. Give me one more chance, let me go and bring them back. This is devotee. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hadn't considered Jagai and Madai to be delivered, but Nityananda Prabhu took compassion upon them. That is why the devotee is more merciful than the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada writes that. Like Srimati Radharani is the devotee of Krishna who is more merciful than Krishna himself. And the same principle of Radharani being more merciful than Krishna follows down the line that devotees are more eager to deliver the suffering souls more than Krishna himself, by Krishna's mercy. So, what is my attitude towards stuck up, stagnant, neophyte, the older devotees, and what is my attitude towards newcomers? That attitude is very important. A Vaishnava shows mercy by taking time to counsel and give relevant instructions, and by making plans whereby the lesser devotees may engage in devotional service, thereby tasting the nectar of Krishna consciousness. What is the meaning of showing mercy? Not that you give your feet and tell him, please, massage my lotus feet, and I am giving you mercy. By doing that we will go to hell. That is not the way to give mercy. Not that you take a portion of your prasad from your plate and give it to him and say, eat my Mahamaha prasad, and you will also advance to my platform. That is not giving mercy. Actually, we have to consider ourselves very fallen, and ourselves a struggling devotee. But objectively viewing, we can consider that I am more fortunate that I am able to be fixed up in my Krishna consciousness by the mercy of my Guru. And this person is struggling and he is stagnant, and at least he has taken the time and trouble to come and meet me. So let me sit with him and counsel him, because he has come to me with some problem, and let me use his problem to put him at the lotus feet of Krishna. Like that a devotee should plan. So you take time to counsel. He may say, Prabhuji, my marks have reduced in the exam, my parents are yelling, shouting and everything. Okay, you arrange for some devotee to help him in that particular subject, and give him confidence that this time he will get better marks. He doesn't have to worry. And give relevant instructions. You can tell him, if you say, how many rounds are you chanting? If he says, I am chanting only 2 rounds for the last 3 years. You tell him, if you chant more rounds, you will get better concentration, better peace of mind, more regulated lifestyle, instead of being torn apart like this, the way you are living now. You can give relevant instructions to him. And you can make a plan for the lesser devotee to engage in devotional service. You can also tell him, it will be nice if you are in final year, you come and help us organize this Prerna program, and call all your friends, and engage them in easy department, paying some of one's earning for Krishna service, or help us in the Dhruva club in the college. Give them some engagement in devotion service. And once he engages in devotion service, again he is in the company of devotees, he feels very blissful. He starts tasting the Krishna consciousness again. Like this, a Vaishnava should make plan. Not that when a devotee, sometimes you will find boys, you really feel irritated. Like we are holding a Sankalp camp, they will say, no, I am busy. You hold a Surti camp, they will say, I am going home. Utkarsh camp, they will say, no, I can't take out so many days. I am going home, my relatives are coming. When you hold the camp, they won't come. And then the camps are over now. The boys have finished the exam and there is some free time. And this fellow will be hanging around in the voice, he will come. Prabhuji, I just came to see. And that too, he will not come in lecture time. Exactly in the middle of the day or afternoon, he will come and demand your time. Prabhuji, I have this problem, that problem. I just came to voice just like that. I was remembering voice because I have some problems. So, sometimes our mind may say, look at this fellow, he doesn't come for Mangalarti, he doesn't come for weekly program, he doesn't come for camps. He just comes to waste our time. And he comes whenever he wishes to, whenever he has problem. So we may become a little irritable, we may become irritated, and we may say, sorry Baba, we don't have any time, just take this prasad, push off. We may leave them behind. So he says, don't do that. Try to be merciful to them. So three things he says. Take time to counsel, give relevant instructions, and engage him in devotional service. Try to give him a chance to again come back to Krishna consciousness. So actually it requires a lot of sympathy for the suffering souls, compassion for the suffering souls. Otherwise, if you are self-righteous, You say, look, see me, see my strict standards. I get up in the morning, look at us, how we practice. If you cannot make it, you go to hell. This attitude is not good. Although sometimes we say that we have to take care of inmates and we can't take care of everybody, it is true. It is true that we don't have enough time to give for this type of boys, but at the same time our attitude towards them should be one of compassion. We should want to help them in some way. At least we should contemplate on helping them, rather than thinking in a self-righteous mode that these are useless fellows, get rid of them or something like that. But one cannot give anyone else mercy unless he himself is strictly following Vaishnava behavior. Srimad Bhagavatam describes Lord Brahma, the forefather of all living entities, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. So Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.40. He says here, when Brahma wanted to do welfare work for other living entities, what he did? He himself started situating himself in strict regulative principles, he says. Which means, we can only do paropakar if you have done janma sarthaka kori first. That is why janma sarthaka kori, karo, paropakar, he said. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh, amara ajna guru haya tara hi desh. Similarly, Bharata bhumita hoila manusya janmaya, janma sarthaka kari, kara paropakar. First, you yourself become fixed up devotee, he is saying. Prabhupada says, pure devotees of the Lord like Brahma and persons in the chain of parampara do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves, he is saying. That means you first act and then you instruct others. Like that he is saying. And then further now he is saying how we should not behave with younger devotees. In the name of supervising lesser devotees, a leader should never abuse them. When Srila Prabhupada heard that a woman was engaging a god sister as her personal servant, he corrected this mistaken etiquette. Why Taittiriya Devi Dasi should have a servant? Wrote Srila Prabhupada. God brothers are not meant for being servants. Without the spiritual master's order, nobody can utilize the service of a God brother as one's personal servant. We address each other as Prabhu. So how can we engage our God brother as a servant? You see, it's an important principle. When we become very senior and we have the new upcoming boys who are like children, we are preaching to them, or we are facilitating them, we are guiding them in spiritual life, and they may be very enthusiastic and eager to do some service for us. And we may unconsciously be taking service from them. Like, Prabhu, please carry my bag, or please wash my clothes, or get this for me, get me a cup of water, get me this, get me that. Maybe ordering them to do different things. So Prabhupada is saying here about taking the service of a younger God brother. Govinda came to become the personal servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Govinda was also a disciple of Ishwarapuri. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, he is the disciple of my spiritual master and I am also disciple of Ishwarapuri, how can I take service? And then all Vaishnavas told Mahaprabhu that it was the desire of Ishwarapuri that Govinda assist you as your servant. Please accept him. Then Mahaprabhu accepted. So, even when we take an assistant or a secretary, like I am the president of Pune temple, I have one assistant devotee who cooks some special health items for me. So we may take some service, but we should keep it to the minimum. If you are taking something out of absolute necessity, one should be very careful. And as senior boys, one should not take service from junior boys for personal purposes. You cannot use your junior boys for doing something for your personal life. Like you can't tell him, purchase this for me and bring from the market for me. Or put my clothes for dry wash and bring it back. You cannot give such service to younger boys. We should actually take a closer look before we give any service. Am I asking the service for Krishna's sake, or am I asking it for my personal sake? We have to think about it before we accept such service. So, I remember one time in Chopati temple, Radhanath Maharaj came to know that some devotees, senior devotees are asking some junior devotees to wash their clothes. Then Maharaj became very concerned. So then Maharaj started washing his own clothes. Every day Maharaj's servant washes his clothes. Maharaj said, no, you don't wash, I will wash it myself. Servant was shocked, what happened? Then 1 or 2 days Maharaj washed. Then servant told many other devotees. The senior devotees ran to Maharaj's room and said, Maharaj, why do you wash your clothes? You are a sannyasi, you are a guru. You can take service from your disciples. We are here to take care of your cooking, cleaning, washing and everything. And then they understood why Maharaj did it, like that. And then they all went to Maharaj and sought forgiveness and said sorry. And then after that, the senior devotees, nobody would give any cloth to wash to anybody. They would wash it themselves. Of course, later on Maharaj agreed to give his cloth for washing to his servant. A sannyasi or a guru can offer such service of getting his clothes washed by a subordinate. But a senior brahmachari, no matter how senior he may be a PA, project advisor, he may be a PM, or even he may be a temple president like myself. At the most, even if I am extremely busy, I tell one junior devotee, please dip my clothes in a bucket and leave it. I will wash it. Once or twice my life was so hectic. My personal assistant, he washed my clothes and dried it. So I really challenged him. How dare you washed it? You never told me. So I took his 2 pairs of clothes and I washed it. And I put it, dried it nicely, folded and gave it to him without his knowledge next day. He got so alarmed. I hope he will never commit that mistake again. So, we should not take this type of services from younger devotees. Sometimes there is a tendency, because there are so many people surrounding us, juniors, asking for how can I serve you, Prabhu, there is a tendency for taking personal service. So that's a material tendency that should be given up. On one occasion, when 2 godbrothers were quarreling as to who was in the superior position, Prabhupada gave instructions to the devotee whom he recognized as the leader out of the 2. As a matter of fact, as you are the pioneer in taking all risks to go to Australia, naturally you shall be considered as the leader. But the leader's position is also very grave and responsible. The leader has to lead others tactfully and intelligently. Kindly therefore do not quarrel, but go on with your duties progressively. You see, sometimes, like for example, here Prabhupada had to tell him 2 people were going to Australia, but one of them said, you see, Prabhupada wants me to be the leader. And the leader was saying like that. But the other fellow said, but I am also equal to you. I am not very junior to you. I am also leader. The other fellow said, they were quarreling. And later on Prabhupada called the actual leader and told him, see, I agree that you are the leader, but you don't have to tell the other fellow like that. You have to tactfully and intelligently deal with the situation. Because sometimes there may be 2 devotees who are equal from the point of view of Diksha. They took at the same time. But one may be posted as a leader by the superiors. For example, when I was sent from Chopari to Pune in 1995, myself, Rupa Goswami Prabhu and Sudama Prabhu were sent to Pune. Now Rupa Goswami Prabhu is senior to me. He came in 87-88 to Krishna consciousness. I came in 1991. So he was sent as a head pujari of Pune, and I was sent as a youth preacher. And Sridhar Prabhu was sent as one of the devotees to serve in the temple. So in 1997, after a couple of years of my stay in Pune, I was made a temple president. Now, Rupa Goswami Prabhu is senior to me. I am junior. At the same time, I was made a temple president. So I kept my relationship with Rupa Goswami Prabhu always respectful and polite. I treated him like my senior, like I would see him in Chowpatty temple. I gave him that dignity, that respect. Like if you go to your house for deity welcoming, I will always ask him, Prabhu, would you like to speak? He may speak a few words and then I will speak. And similarly, any decisions to be made for deity department, even if 100 people say one thing, I will not accept unless Rupa Goswami Prabhu finalizes it. And he also, actually he knows I am junior to him, but because I am holding a post as a president, he dealt with me very politely and respectfully. He would come to me and ask me, Prabhu, we are planning to celebrate a boat festival, can we do? We are planning to stitch a dress for Radha Kunj Bihari and we want to spend this much money, can we do? I will tell him, this money is all deity department's money, you don't even have to ask me. He would say, no, Prabhuji, you are temple president, Maharaj has posted you and we are under your custody, so we have to take your permission. You see? So, the Vaishnava philosophy is so beautiful. According to age, experience, seniority, and holding post. For these four things, we have to respect a person. And the beauty is, in age and seniority, Rupa Goswami Prabhu is above me. And in post, I may be apparently above him. But because we both deal with each other respectfully in a Vaishnava way, there is no problem. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. Sometimes a boy says, Prabhuji, I am a young devotee posted as a OC and there are seniors to me, how should I deal with them? Sometimes it becomes difficult to handle them. Then I sat with one such OC and found out what was the problem. You know what was the problem? He called for a book distribution meeting. All the people came, including juniors and equals and seniors also. And this boy is in end of second year, beginning of third year. And finally devotees also came because they thought they are calling for a meeting, we have to come. So in the meeting he spoke in the tone of a very mature and advanced sannyasi. Like that he spoke. He was looking at the junior devotees and said, so all of you first year and second year devotees, I am very happy that you all are engaged in Krishna service for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and you will go back to Godhead in this very life. It's wonderful. Then he looked at the seniors and said, and all of you devotees are also, finally devotees and you are engaged in your sadhana and everything very appropriately. Very nice. So the tone in which he spoke, it put off the seniors. They thought he is a kid. He came after us and he is speaking as if he is like a father of all of us. His tone was sounding arrogant. So, and he was telling, so I am posted as PM or OC or whatever. I have to engage all of you in service. So he was speaking, so the seniors didn't like to be engaged by him. Later on this devotee admitted because Prabhuji, I was sounding arrogant. They didn't like it. Then I told him, while dealing with those who are senior in age to you and senior to you can be polite and respectful. That's what Prabhupada is saying. You should tactfully and intelligently deal with people like that. Then he is saying here, showing mercy to others is sometimes not an easy thing. And one more point comes to my mind. Sometimes you have to engage a senior devotee in cleaning. So, like in our temple, Maha cleaning, I have to do on every Friday, morning between like 11 to 1 or something. So the cleaning department people never call me. All other devotees will go to them and they will do, because they used to think Rajnampur is president, he's like a guru for us, they think like that. And they don't feel like engaging me. So then I would go to that cleaning department. Murari Prabhu told me, Prabhuji, they are feeling uneasy to engage you. You can tell me where you want to clean and all. He would tell me. Then I would tell him where I want to clean, and then he would tell the devotees to give me all the, jadu, poncha and everything. They would give like that. So, some amount of politeness in dealing with seniors is required by a junior devotee. Like if you have to engage senior devotee, you can go and tell him, Prabhu, today is the Maha cleaning day, and here are the items for cleaning, Prabhu. You can kindly take them and then you can keep it back in this place. Is that all right? So then they will feel nice. But if you think I am the head of cleaning department, सब लोग आ जाओ, junior हो, senior हो, हम परवाह नहीं करते हैं. We don't care. So if you speak arrogantly, harshly, then that is not Vaishnava behavior. Showing mercy to others is sometimes not an easy thing. If you give a thief the mercy of good moral instructions, he may become angry with us, and one must be competent to tactfully and intelligently extend mercy to lesser devotees. Giving mercy cannot be someone's concoction and cannot be done with a motivation to become praised and worshipped by lesser devotees. A devotee should remain humble and fixed in Krishna conscious principles, and then he will be competent to give the mercy of his good example to others. If one behaves ideally, he will give mercy to everyone without any extraneous effort. Yeah. You see, giving mercy is a very tough thing. The practical story example is of Yamunacharya. The Yamuna, when he was a small boy, he defeated Kolahala, one very great debater. And because of that, this young boy, Yamuna, was given half the kingdom of the king. Can you imagine if a small child is given half the kingdom, what will he do with it? He was very pious and he was studying Bhagavad Gita and all that. But he grew up as like a prince and he became a king. And now he became extremely busy, preoccupied with his kingly affairs. All the time there were dozens of chariots standing outside his palace, busy people coming to meet him, and he was stupid in material affairs. He forgot all his childhood sanskaras. And his grandfather, Nathamuni, he was lamenting, alas, my grandson Yamuna, he would have become a great acharya. And now see, unfortunately, he has become misled by materialistic life. So Nathamuni called one of his prominent disciples called Ram Mishra and said, now I am counting my last days, I am in my deathbed. Ram Mishra, if you can somehow or other contemplate on a method by which you can show mercy upon this Yamunacharya, King Yamuna, and bring him to Krishna consciousness, I will be very thankful to you. And Ram Mishra promised his guru, and his guru Nathamuni left his body. So Ram Mishra was constantly thinking how to, bring Yamuna, King Yamuna to bhakti. So one day when he went to meet the king at the palace doors, he found there was a watchman who wouldn't allow anyone in so easily. And so many chariots were standing. He thought this is not a proper route by which I can meet the king. And even if I meet him, he is going to give just 1 or 2 minutes. There is no possibility of preaching. You see, we all want to meet cinema actors and actresses. We want to meet politicians. We want to meet cricket stars. We want to meet top principals of colleges. We want to meet business magnates of the whole country. And these are all shreshtas. And we want to preach to them. But what is the problem? Busy. Everybody is busy. We are not able to preach to them. So nowadays ISKCON devotees have another idea. You know what? They find out who are the politicians who have good principles. Like Narendra Modi ji, for example, in Gujarat. He has stopped all the slaughter there, slaughterhouses there. Similarly, there are principled chief ministers and MLAs and MPs in India also. Although there may be many people who may live an unprincipled life. So if you can identify the principled politicians And when they are in post, they may be very busy. But sometimes when they are not in post, they lost the vote or something like that, then they have a lot of free time. Then you can go to their house. In fact, when one is not in the post, nobody goes to them. Hare Krishnas are the only one who go to them. Because we in fair weather and foul weather, we are friends of everybody. Then we go to them, they welcome us very warmly. Then we bring them along with their wife to temple, and give them Krishna consciousness, give them mala, make them chant. They may come to 16 rounds also, you see. And the next time they vote, they already have voted in the past, elected in the past, so when they stand again, likely, like Prabhupada predicted, Vajpayee will become President of India, and so Prabhupada's prediction came true. So Gopaksha Maharaj had called him to come to Delhi temple opening. So in this way we developed friendship with him. So ultimately we have no motives. Our motive is only that he becomes a devotee. And he's a Shrestha. So by his good example, let him spread Brahminical culture of cow protection. Let all the people, Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Let the whole India become Krishna conscious and be happy. That's our only motive, which is a pure spiritual motive. So, in the same manner, King Yamuna was too busy. So Ram Mishra contemplated an alternative technique. He took some shak, which is called Tuduvalai, and he went to the kitchen and said, please cook this for the king. I see that king is having a lot of tension and stress. If he eats this, his mind will become calm, cool and collected. He will feel happy. So cook this. I don't know how many of you have eaten South Indian kirai. Kirai we call it, Tuduvalai kirai. It's very famous. In our home we used to have it 2-3 times in a week. It is a delicious preparation. So, and very, very sattvic it is. So the kitchen person cooked it and served to king, and king was delighted. He said, what is this? It is so wonderful. I want it every day, he said. And Ram Mishra brought it every day for a few weeks, 2-3 weeks. And then suddenly one day he stopped it. He didn't come for 2-3 days. And the king became very restless. Why that item is not there? Kitchen person says, sir, he is not coming and giving. Who is that person? Call him, I want to meet him. I'll pay him a fortune if need be. So please make sure that I get it every day. So when that person comes, bring him to me, the king said. So when Ram Mishra came, he was taken to the king. And he got a good opportunity to meet the king. And he told the king, my dear king, I'll surely bring this for you every day. But I have something more important to tell you. Your grandfather Nathamani. And King Yamuna said, oh, you know about my grandfather Nathamani? He said, yes. He has hidden a very great treasure that is to be given to you. Very costly treasure, he said. Really? And the king said, I am so desperately needing gold, silver and diamond now. Where is it? Where is it? Bring it to me immediately. There are so many wars now and we need to spend money. So Ram Mishra said, you will get the treasure, but it is in faraway place. And the king said, I will send any number of people with you. How many people you want? No, Ram Mishra said, you yourself have to come. And because he told me not to give this treasure to anyone other than you. It is a black treasure that is protected by a multi-hooded serpent surrounded by 7 walls. So it's a very confidential treasure. Only if you come with me I can show you. The king said, never mind. I will drop all my other responsibilities and come with you because I am in need of money. He was pretty materialistic. He was in need of money, so he was desperate. He was willing to go with him. So as they started walking and proceeding into the jungle, they were going by foot. So Ram Mishra walked in the front and king followed. And while going, Ram Mishra started singing. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. And then he started singing. Then he came to the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. As he went on singing, the king was relishing, enjoying, nodding his head because in his childhood he had read Bhagavad Gita. The verse after verse, from beginning to end of Bhagavad Gita he was reciting. And as they came in the middle of the jungle, there were thick bushes and trees and beautiful lakes. It was a setting in mode of goodness, Sattva-guna. Sometimes they would sit under a tree to take rest for some time, take some lunch or something, again get up and walk further. So in this way, when he was going on singing, the king was clapping hands and relishing these wonderful shlokas. You see, once you awaken the soul to Krishna consciousness even a bit, one starts relishing Krishna consciousness heartily. And then he recited this prayer. Mayyeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva atavurdvam na samshayah etu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena madhyayanta upasate teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita chetasam mayyeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya. Here Krishna is saying, my dear Arjuna, I will personally deliver my devotees who offer all the fruits of their activities to me. Therefore, simply meditate on me. Mayyeva mana adatsva. Fix your mind upon me. Fix your intelligence upon me. In this way you will live in me and you will become elevated and you will return back to me. So when he heard this, profuse tears came from his eyes and hair stood on end. He fell on the ground unconscious. He got up, again felt ecstatic rapture in the body, and profuse tears came. He started beating on his chest and loudly weeping and yelling, alas, alas, how I have wasted my life. I was so Krishna conscious in my childhood, and this particular verse was my most favorite verse. Amongst all the verses of Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, think of me always, invest your intelligence in me, you will surely come back to me. I will personally come to deliver you from this world of ocean of birth and death. So he said, how I have wasted my life, what kind of life am I leading now, what is the use of my kingship? I have chariots and elephants and horses and hundreds and thousands of praja, all saluting me. I have become a passionate king, absorbed in materialistic civilization. So Ram Mishra was blissful to see this transformation of heart of the king. And he said, my dear king, I am very pleased with seeing your devotion erupting from your heart. Anyway, you come with me and let me give you the treasure. The king said, hell with all the treasures of this material world. My dear great saint, accept me as your disciple. I am surrendering my life to you. And I don't want any more material gifts. I simply want to become a mendicant like you. Follow in your footsteps, he said. And Rameshwar said, but you do not know the gift that your grandfather has left for you. Come with me, I will show you. After that you decide what you want. So he took him to Srirangam. And he took him to the Lord Ranganath. And the Srirangam temple has 7 walls. And he entered those 7 walls. And he took him to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where beautiful Lord Ranganath is lying, keeping his hand like this in Ananta Shesha, very long personality. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. Such a beautiful form of Lord Ranganath. You see, Shanta Akaram. Lord is peacefully in a Yoga Nidra state, semi-closed eyes. Bhujaga Shayanam is lying on the Ananta Shesh. Bhujaga means the snake. Vishwadharam Gagna Sadrisham. Meghavarnam Shivangam. His body is bluish in complexion. Because Ranganath is Krishna only. He is lying Krishna. The one who is lying down on Ananta Shesh. Because that is how Andal worshipped him. She called him as Krishna only. Padmanabham Suresham. He is a Pankajanabi. From his Nabi comes a lotus flower in which Brahma is born. Sura Isham. He is the Lord of all the Suras, Devatas. Shantakaram, Bhujakashana, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadaram, Megavaranam, Shubhangam. Shubhangam. He has transcendental limbs, senses. Lakshmi, Kantam, Kamala, Nayanam. He has lotus petal like eyes and he is attractor of Lakshmi. Yogi Dhyana Gamyam. All yogis meditate that Lord Krishna in their hearts constantly. Yogi Dhyana Gamyam. Vande Vishnu. I offer my namaskar to such personality, Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Bhavabayaharam. One who takes away the fear of samsara sagara or birth and death. Sarvalokaikanatham, who is the master of all the planets and millions of Brahmandas, Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayak. So when he got darshan of this beautiful Ranganatha, who was the black sapphire or black diamond, who is protected by the snake and 7 walls, King Yamuna fell on the ground with ecstatic rapture, tears in his eyes, hair standing on it, crying, remembering Krishna and his sweetness. And then Rameshwar said, this entire Ranga Kshetra is waiting for an Acharya like you. Please kindly take the position of Acharya here as Yamunacharya and guide all the Vaishnavas who are all needing a leader like you, he said. And Yamunacharya since then became Acharya in Srirangam, you see. So, we were telling this past time why, how Rameshwar showed compassion to King Yamuna, who was like a diamond, who was apparently covered over by filth, by materialistic civilization, materialistic culture. So, I remember Gauranga Prabhu, when he went to America, he went to Seattle, and in Seattle, there was one gentleman who was working with Microsoft at that time. He was directly reporting to Bill Gates. Very big man. His name is Cal Ram. So you may wonder, is it American name, Cal Ram? Cal Ram, his actual name is Kalyana Raman. He's a South Indian. But after going to America, his name became Cal Ram. So Gauranga Prabhu was giving a program. And one person working under Cal Ram, one subordinate devotee, he's a Hare Krishna devotee. He was always trying to pull him to come for the programs. And he told one very special devotee has come, please come for his program. He brought him to Gauranga Prabhu's program. Gauranga Prabhu spoke very beautifully, by giving many examples. Especially Gauranga Prabhu gave example of Rajinikanth and Sachin Tendulkar in his lecture. And these are all favorite heroes of Cal Ram. But he gave for a particular reason. He said, just like Sachin Tendulkar, if he is sitting in this class today, will any of you be looking at me? You all will be looking at Sachin Tendulkar. Is it not true? Why? Because he is a cricket hero. He possesses some Shakti, some talent for which he becomes attractive. Similarly, Lord Krishna is Sarva Shaktiman. All Shaktis are with Krishna, like that Gauranga was speaking. And you like Rajinikanth. Why? Because Rajinikanth takes a cigarette, like that he puts and catches with his mouth. Now after Rajinikanth did it in one movie, there were thousands of Indians who are trying to catch cigarette like that. Isn't it? Because he does something wonderful which charms the hearts of people. Isn't it? Similarly, Krishna also is Adbhuta Karmanaha. He does wonderful activities and charms the hearts of his devotees supremely. So, after the lecture was over, our Cal Ram was clean bold. He came to Gauranga Prabhu and said, this was the best lecture I heard, Swamiji. And he became connected to Gauranga Prabhu. And then Gauranga Prabhu came to know this Kalyana Raman comes from the same village where Kulashekara lived. Kulashekara Acharya, he lived. And there is a temple of Kulashekara there. And this Cal Ram comes from a Sri Vaishnava family. So, then he preached to him and inspired him, and Cal Ram took Srimad Bhagavatam set completely. And every day he started reading 2 hours Bhagavatam. Can you imagine? Early morning he would get up and read 2 hours. Non-stop. For months together, he read more than about 1 year or so he read and he completed the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. And became awakened in his Krishna consciousness, came to 16 rounds of chanting. In this way, Gaura Prabhu removed the superficial covering of materialism in him and revived his devotional nature. Now, the people in his village were shocked to see how he became so transformed. When he would return to his village every year from America, he would come in with his pant and shirt and he would bring a lot of goods from America, things from America. Because some people like rum and some people like electronic gadgets, different things. But now when he came, he brought many Prabhupada's books and gave it to all his relatives and friends. And people were shocked to see his heart transformation. So in this way, we can give many examples for a superior devotee giving association to a younger devotee. In summary, he says, by our ideal behavior and ideal example, we can inspire younger devotees, he is saying. In summary, a devotee will find himself obliged sometimes to give and sometimes to receive in his exchanges with the three classes of devotees. In doing so, he should be guided by the principles of honor, friendship and mercy. The pure devotees, this is Bhagavatam 3.29.17, Prabhupada is saying, the pure devotee should execute devotional service by giving the greatest respect to the Guru and Acharyas. He should be compassionate to the poor and make friendship with persons who are equals, and all of his activities should be executed under regulation with control of the senses. And Madhyama Bhakta's relationship. See, till now we were talking about giving mercy to less advanced devotees. But Madhyama Bhakta's relationship with innocent non-devotees who are called as Balish. Now who is Balish? And innocent doesn't mean he is bola bala or he is easily gullible or cheatable or something. Balish actually means those people who do not know what is Krishna consciousness so much, but who are non-blasphemous of Krishna. They are not against Krishna. They are very simple-hearted. A pure devotee has a naturally friendly disposition. He is not prone to cause anyone anxiety by words or even by ill thoughts. He forgives the wrongs of others. When this mood is combined with the understanding that non-devotees are suffering and preparing themselves for more suffering, the devotee's compassion is activated and he wants to render service to the fallen souls. You see, those who are already Hare Krishna devotees, they are punyatmas because you can see them. You see the morning program, Tulasi Arati, they are clapping hands, worshipping Tulasi. Guru Puja, they are worshipping the Acharya, and they are dancing very innocently. These are devotees. The devotees are like demigods. One place Prabhupada says the devotees are like Vishnu Dutas, he says. Because Vishnu Dutas also have the tilak symbol in 12 parts of their body. The only difference is our Hare Krishna devotees are Vishnu Dutas with only 2 hands instead of 4 hands. So we should see devotees like Vishnu Dutas, Prabhupada says. Because what is the difference? In consciousness, they are the same like in the spiritual world. Only they have a material body here which they will cast away. And this is the last life, they will go back to Godhead and engage in Lord service. So they have a certain type of disposition. Sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu. They want to see all Jivarashis happily engaged in Krishna service. I have seen so many devotees, they are fond of giving food for life to people and giving Mahaprasad to people. Some people are very fond of going and doing Harinam Sankirtan and distributing holy name. Some people want to distribute Prabhupada's books. I heard that in Gulf, they go to thousands of houses for doing this Damodar month puja. I have heard from Srivalla Prabhu and others. They reach out to thousands of houses. So much enthusiasm they have for reaching out Krishna to the houses of people. So, in this way, a devotee by nature has a friendly disposition towards all. Dhira, dhira, janapriya. And he doesn't cause any anxiety to other living entities. Yasmano udvijite loko, lokano udvijite chaya, like the Krishna says. They don't cause anxiety to others, and if others cause anxiety to them, they don't mind. That's a devotee. So naturally such a devotee feels compassion for the suffering people, especially if a person is innocent and is willing to accept Krishna consciousness. All classes of men and women who are averse to hearing and chanting about Krishna are pitiable because they are neglecting the real purpose of human life, and they will have to go on suffering repeated birth and death in the material world. Whether they be yogis or any other type of religionists or speculators, they are all wasting their life. Out of compassion, the preacher approaches and tries to deliver all sinful persons. The devotee is not satisfied with his own salvation. He is anxious for welfare of others. As he contacts the non-devotees, he finds some of them to be extremely inimical and blasphemous, whereas others he considers innocent. By innocent, we do not mean that they are sinless, but that they are not directly blasphemous. And when confronted with Krishna consciousness, they are not inimical, although they may continue their abominable activities. You see, once our devotees are going in the train, one devotee started playing Kartal and started singing Hare Krishna. One lady sitting a few seats ahead, she stood up and shouted loudly, "Stop it!" She was shouting. This noise you guys are making is piercing my ears. Why don't you let people be in peace? She asked, and the devotee became frightened. So they asked me, "Prabhu, should we stop?" Then I told them, "Sing very softly." Then we were singing only so that we all could hear, 4-5 of us. I told them, "Don't irritate her by playing loud kartal." Then she kept quiet also. And within the next half an hour, a group of young boys, girls, they boarded the train with all guitar. They started playing. Guitar, electric guitar. Playing, So they were playing some Western music. And this lady was enjoying very much. Sitting, You see, these are the unfortunate souls. They find the holy name pinching and piercing their ears and hearts. But when they are hearing raucous music, they are ready to enjoy it, you see. So these are blasphemous people. Like, I have experience of book distribution in the early days from Pune to Bombay when we used to go to distribute. Wearing white and white dhoti kurta I used to wear. So some men, some women, they would see me and ask me, "Oh, you look like educated boy and you are doing this. What is your education?" Then I would tell them, "I am from IIT." "Oh, really? IIT? And you are doing this? Please sit down, take your seat here, tell us something more about yourself. And what are these books you are selling? Do you get any commission for this, or is it a business, or how do you do it?" They would ask me. And then they would see through the books. And then they would take some 4-5 books. And they would tell me that actually I am not interested in the books, but because you are doing this nice service, I feel like helping you, so I am taking the book. So these are the innocent people, simple people. On the other hand, there are other fellows looking up and down, like this, "Why are you doing this distribution?" So one village fellow, you see, even a doctorate fellow may be innocent with respect to Krishna. He may be willing to buy a book from you and read and become a Hare Krishna devotee easily. On the other hand, unpad, anguta chap fellow can be atheistic. So this fellow who was putting some tobacco in the mouth, like that he was spitting outside the window, and he looked at me. Kya kar raha hai? What are you doing? He asked me. And I said, "I am distributing Bhagavad Gita." "Arey, computer ka jamana aa gaya, Bhagavad Gita bech raha hai." He was selling. "Arey, computer age has come and this fellow is selling Bhagavad Gita." He was selling. Then I asked him, "तुमको कंप्यूटर के बारे में क्या मालूम तुमको?" So then I was thinking in my own mind, look at this fool. How unfortunate he is so blasphemous. So he is envious of Krishna. As soon as he saw Krishna's photo, he became envious. He is saying, "Why are you distributing this?" And this fellow is a villager, but delighting in having a mobile and TV at home. He is enjoying materialistic living. And he is envious of Krishna. We cannot preach such people. You just leave them and go away. So, those people who are non-blasphemous, they are innocent. If a devotee sees in a non-devotee the smallest spark of interest towards Krishna, he works earnestly to fan that spark. So one devotee is asking here, Prabhu, you said that we should not accept any service, but in sick condition what should be our attitude and what else condition we should accept service? Yeah. When we are sick, we can give our clothes to be washed because we are very feverish. We can request somebody to get prasadam for us. We may request someone to get medicine for us because we are in a weak situation. And so we need help of other devotees. And when they get sick, then we can also serve them. That is all right. And in another situation, we can take service. For example, you are bringing a heavy luggage, you have brought boxes and all, and you have your bag and too many things to carry. You are coming in the railway station, some devotees are coming to receive you, they are asking, give me your bag, Prabhu. Whatever you can carry, you carry. Rest of it, you can give it to them. Tell them if you can help, we will be thankful. They can take that service. So nothing should be done in a mood of lording over the people. Yeah. Like one boy asked me that Prabhuji from Calcutta, one of my seniors was going to Pune and Mumbai. I told him to get some books for me, which are not available here. Was it all right? He asked me. I said, generally speaking, you should not give service to your seniors. Like for example, say Bhakti-Rasamana Maharaj is going to America and he is coming from America to India. I tell Maharaj, for Pune we have ordered 4 projectors and 5 laptops. So they are all put in big boxes, they will give it to you, can you bring it? It's not proper to ask him. Actually senior means I should serve him, not that I take service from him. Of course he is senior, but if somebody is junior to me, can I take that service? Can I ask him to bring 4 projectors and 5 laptops from America? Just because I am in a superior position, if I tell him, he will do it, but sometimes they do it grudgingly. और राजश्याम प्रभु ने बोला है लाना पड़ेगा मुझे, ऑलरेडी मेरे पास बड़ा लगेज है, इसको भी लाना पड़ेगा. So what I generally do, I tell Kannada people also that whenever you ask somebody to bring something from America, make sure that don't dump too many things on one person. Try to keep the luggage as light as possible because they may be having their own luggage. And also check with them very politely. Prabhu, is it alright or is it a burden for you? Would you mind bringing one projector with you along with your luggage if it would not be inconvenient to you? And if they say, I'll try Prabhuji, I have such a lot of luggage but I will try, then immediately tell them no, don't bring it. But if they say, by all means Prabhuji, I don't have any luggage myself personally, why only one? You tell me more. Then we can give them more. See, this is sensitivity in dealing with people, devotees. Even those who may be junior to us. Actually, we have to deal with juniors also with respect. They are also Vaishnavas. And after you spend 4 or 5 years, they also grow up. And we have to treat them almost like an equal. We cannot deal with them like a kid. Demanding, idhar aa, tu udhar ja, ye leke aa, wo leke ja. We cannot deal with them like that. We have to treat them like Vaishnavas. Okay. If a devotee sees in a non-devotee the smallest spark of interest towards Krishna, he works earnestly to fan that spark into a fire. This attitude is inspired by Krishna himself, who as the well-wishing father of all living entities wants everyone to give up their suffering and return to him. The devotees, as faithful sons and daughters of the Supreme Father, work to bring about Lord Krishna's desires for recovering his lost children. When the Lord sees his servants approaching others with his mercy, he is very satisfied. You see? Actually, Krishna wants to reclaim all the conditioned souls. That's why he is telling, if somebody preaches Bhagavad Gita, he becomes very dear to me. So who are the devotees? The devotees are like the faithful, obedient, responsible sons of the Supreme Father, Krishna. And the demons and non-devotees, they are like the mischievous son who has run away from the father, like we hear in Prodigal's son story. They have gone astray into mischievous activities or rebellious activities. So the faithful sons try to bring back the mischievous sons back to the father, and father feels very happy. So we are all in Srila Prabhupada's mission. Prabhupada is one of the most faithful sons of Krishna and who reclaimed millions of souls. And we are assisting Srila Prabhupada and his disciples in our own insignificant way. Although we may not have that level of faithfulness and loyalty and sincerity to Krishna, by contributing a little bit of service from our end, we can also please Krishna. And we can help in various ways. He's saying about food for life prasadam and donating for the cause of Krishna. Many things he's explaining here. So, another question on, and then another topic on avoiding the association of the atheists. I will speak in one more class. That's a very important topic. I will not touch it today. But now we have 15 minutes and I am going to answer the questions. So if any of you want to send your questions right now through phone, you can send also to Pavan Putra Prabhu. You have the number? They know it, I think. I am in Calcutta now. So in the meantime I will answer some other questions. I don't want to quote the names of devotees who have sent these questions because sometimes they may want it to be kept confidential, I think. So here he is asking, if any subordinate is not submissive and doesn't like me telling any good instruction or advice, or doesn't like to hear me or any correction, how to develop proper relationship with that subordinate? Very important question. And I faced a similar problem. I approached Maharaj. There was one devotee who was not reading Prabhupada books enough, and he was getting into many other books and not reading Prabhupada books. So I took him to Maharaj. And these are the things I found. Not submissive, doesn't like me telling good instruction or advice. If I give, he would practically run away. He would say that I am busy with this, I am busy with that, I have no time. He wasn't willing to hear me. He thought that I am unreasonable. I told the devotee that 75% of your reading and hearing should be Prabhupada and Maharaj. And he wasn't willing to take correction, although I called him several times and trying to bring him to track. So the first thing Maharaj told me, correction can be offered only on the platform of love. He said, if somebody doesn't love you, you cannot correct him. Or if somebody should dutifully accept you with respect, that you are holding a post and he is under you, so he should have respect for you. If not love, at least respect. Respect is one step lower, actually. Love is best, but love is not there, at least respect. He said, if that is also not there, he thinks you are unreasonable and you are cruel and you are doing a surgery without any anesthesia. He is thinking you are wild and insensitive. Then he said, your good instructions will fall in deaf ears. Then I asked the Maharaj, then what is to be done, Maharaj? He said, find out someone whom he loves and then ask that person to instruct him. And then Maharaj said, this is the reason Maharaj said, all the authorities have to become love emitters. And they have to behave in a way, endearing way, by which they will be able to attract the love of their subordinates towards them. Not for the sake of becoming their hero, but to represent Guru and Krishna properly. He said, so that they will be able to, and they will be willing to take help of the superiors. Otherwise, by behaving in ways with them which puts off the relationship, they will run away from us and you will not be able to feed them the right nourishment that they need. Like that he said. And then besides that he said, don't worry, now you start serving that devotee humbly, in a friendly mood, in a non-threatening mood, and gradually win his trust, he said. And likely that over a period of few years, he may develop a very strong love and trust for you, and that time he will be willing to hear you. It's not that the trust is gone forever. You can reinstate the trust, he said. So now, for example, you are a PM of a voice, and you have a subordinate who is not submissive. and it doesn't like you giving any good instruction, what you can do? You can take the help of your PA and ask him to give him good instruction. And your PA should tell that boy that if you are rebelling against your PM like this is not a good attitude. You will suffer anywhere you go. Wherever you travel, in any yatra, any project, you will not be happy. Because rebellion is a knot of the heart. If you don't cut that knot in the early stage in spiritual life and cultivate internal submissiveness and towards the immediate authorities. In Pune temple I put very young people as managers. Like we have Anadi Krishna Prabhu and Ajay Govind Prabhu. Why we do that? Because if all temple devotees, including seniors, they learn to respect a very young devotee as a manager, then naturally they can respect the TMC and president and GBCs and gurus naturally. So that's why we keep very young devotees as managers. So we have to teach all our boys this internal submissiveness, internal commitment, internal accountability. Then it will externally manifest. It's a very bad quality to have lack of submissiveness, and it's likely that this boy has developed some kind of verbal battle with his senior, due to which he is behaving like this in erratic ways. He doesn't want to hear any correction or anything because the emotional bank account is, has bounced. I think it is empty now because the senior has to invest in the junior devotee by showing mercy, compassion, kindness, respect and everything. If you have put 10,000 rupees money in the bank, you can only withdraw 7,000-8,000 rupees. You cannot put 10,000 and withdraw 1 lakh rupees. Similarly, the senior cannot artificially dominate him using his post or position. Better that he wins the heart of the subordinate, and then over a period of time, he will be able to instruct and guide him. Okay, another question. What should be our attitude, consciousness, when we are corrected for something which we have not done? Okay, you have not done a mistake, but there is correction coming from the top. Then you should clarify. This clarification is not justification. Clarification is allowed. Because you are sincerely clarifying so that the superior will not have a wrong perception about you. Like, Govinda crossed Mahaprabhu's body and Mahaprabhu asked, why did you do that? He didn't clarify. He just thought in his own mind that, my dear Lord, for your service, I can break a ticket. But for my sense gratification, I will not break a ticket. He told in his mind, not outside. But what he spoke in the mind, Mahaprabhu heard, because he is super soul in the heart of everyone. So your authority is not a super soul. He cannot know what is going on in your mind. Better you speak it out. How to inspire devotees to study academics seriously, regularly? You see, if a boy is found to be failing in completing his study quota at the end of the week, I have one brilliant suggestion. What do? You can tell him that you have to submit the study report twice a week, once in 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, show me report. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, show me report. Like that you have to ask. Similarly, if he is not fulfilling that also, Monday night, show me report. Tuesday night, show me report. Wednesday night, show me report. Every day you have to show me report. See, this is Krishna's mechanism. If you are not surrendering to the laws of God, he restricts your freedom more and more. And one who is like Vamshodhan Prabhu, I never would ask him for his sadhana card because he is never less than 98%, 98 or 99%. But somebody who is not fulfilling sadhana card, I will chase after him. Is it not true? Similarly, study also, easy ways, the very same day you will challenge them. Today night only you have to show me what you studied today. Then that is the way we can catch them. And if they are not fulfilling by such follow-up, remove them. You can say, you can write a mail to me directly or Premanandam Prabhu to Central Voice and say that Prabhuji, this devotee is not doing his studies, he is very slack. And because of one person not studying and getting poor marks, all the other boys get discouraged, parents come and create trouble. And our leaders have enough headache to worry about. We don't want to impose more headache on them. Yeah. I give equal weightage to study, as you all know. Mahamanasmara yudhyacha. Who can delegate services to juniors? What should be our consciousness while doing so? The project manager can call for a meeting of all the people to whom he wants to delegate. He can sit with them and have a meeting with OC, with preaching coordinator, with the internal manager and all the front lines. He can sit in a circle and make a plan. We'll talk about the meeting in one future email lectures. And he can delegate services. And his consciousness should be that these services are actually originally belonging to Srimati Radharani, and she is handing it over in parampara to the parampara acharyas, and now it has come to my spiritual master, whoever he is, Radhanath Maharaj or Gopaksha Maharaj. He has given to Radhesham, and Radhesham has given it to the PAC members, and the PAC members have handed it over to PMs, and as PM I am giving the service to them and to these people. So it is said services go up and mercy comes down. Descending mercy and ascending service, we say, isn't it? So the mercy of Krishna comes down from the hands of Radharani down to the bottom in the form of services for us. And then when we do the service and give it, then it goes up. Ascending service. Whatever services the boys do, it goes up to Krishna's hands. That's the right consciousness. Generally I plan my sadhana, regular services, studies for a given day. But sometimes ad hoc services come, and sometimes we allot less time for a service, which takes less time. In that we can't do everything we planned. So in the remaining time, what should be given preference? Sadhana, regular services, studies. How to avoid frustration that comes out of our plan being failed, is asking. You see, generally in your 100% time, you should always plan only for 75 or 80%. And 20%, 25% you should have empty time in a week, which should be for ad hoc. Because if you plan for 100% time and ad hoc comes, you feel stretched. And what should be given preference? Sadhana is first priority. If even regular services are there, for example, your sadhana can be postponed, chanting is there, it can be postponed to afternoon, it can be postponed to evening, or it can be postponed to night at the most. But if you have not chanted 4-5 rounds at 10 o'clock at night, can you be doing service? Then you have to tell the devotees that please can somebody help me do the service, I can chant my rounds. So we have to weigh and see which is important at that time. All three are important, sadhana, service and studies. So then you can, if you don't know what to do, you can consult your senior, how to act in this situation. If a devotee is given a fixed service, but he doesn't do, and also he doesn't like me tell him, or remind him of his service, what could be the attitude of mind and overall solution to this problem? Basically that fellow is uninspired in his Krishna consciousness. You have to tell your senior, Prabhuji, this is his plight, please tell me what I could do with him. Your senior can help you, or he can help him. And what should be your outlook towards the devotee? You should tell yourself, oh my dear Lord, although I am his senior, I could not inspire him in some way by which he would be more surrendered and more cooperative. It seems that our relationship has become strained now, due to which he is trying to escape from service and he doesn't like me to tell him also. Please help me to enrich my relation with him, so a time will come when he will be blissfully engaged in service. Like that we can think. Material way of thinking is, hey, he's a lazy bum, escapist, good for nothing. This is material outlook. Devotees are more merciful than Krishna, but all qualities that we see, all just a minute part of Krishna. Then how can devotees who just exhibit a minute quality of Krishna be more merciful? How are they becoming more merciful? You see, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimati Radharani is Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. And she is Shakti of Krishna. She is not Shaktiman. Similarly, we are also Jiva Shakti. So we are also in that category. Like Radharani is Shakti, we are also Shakti. So we have some quality in us which is small part and parcel of Srimati Radharani's quality. Radha is more compassionate than Krishna. It's not that Krishna is hard-hearted. Krishna is the most soft-hearted. But sometimes Radharani is said to be more softer than Krishna also. Like a mother is more compassionate than the father. So mother is Prakriti, father is Purusha. Similarly, we are also Prakriti. So being Prakriti, our nature also is similar to that of Srimati Radharani's. Of course, Radharani has oceanic Shraddha and faith in Krishna, and we have a small droplet of that. And Prabhupada says, we are more merciful than Lord by the mercy of the Lord, he says. Which means it is Krishna's arrangement that his devotees be more merciful than him also. That they, like Nityananda Prabhu went and delivered Jagai Madhai, and Lord Chaitanya became very pleased by that. It's not that Chaitanya is not merciful. He is merciful, but the mercy of devotees is even more glorified because it is more easily accessible to everybody in this world than even Lord's mercy. Some devotees, even after 2-3 years, say that only after knowing everything, only, I will come for the whole morning program. How to deal with them? You can leave it to them, because coming to morning program is based on inspiration. Joining voice is based on inspiration. Joining prasadam is based on inspiration. We should not artificially try to force anybody to do the morning ritual, because then they will become, they will be doing empty ritual with no essence, no substance. If somebody needs time to grow and then come, let them come. You can leave it to them. You can tell them, it's your choice, Prabhu. We are all ecstatic in the morning program. If you come, you will also be ecstatic. It's up to you. Can I ask for help to my equal, who is my good friend, just on basis of friendship? What type of help is important? In your spiritual life, your equal should be able to help you. Like for example, one boy was telling his to his friend, जब से मैं वॉइस में ज्वाइन किया, मुझे कॉलेज में बहुत नींद आता है यार. He was telling. That boy said, मुझे भी नींद आता है. He was telling. I also feel sleepy in the college. And then he said, I think this morning program becomes very heavy, I think, isn't it? Such a series of programs from early morning. See, all our life we had so much freedom. Now that we have joined voice, whole morning becomes so tight, he was telling. And his friend also said, yes, I also feel the same, he was telling. Then this fellow asked, hey, when we were non-devotees, we could study late night and all, now we cannot go. What do you think? He said, yes. And then the first boy said, that's why I'm thinking whether I could leave the voice and go back to hostel. And the other said, acha idea, maybe aata hu. So both of them left. You see, in this way they lost the valuable jewel of Krishna consciousness. That's why we should confide our heart with those who can help us. If somebody is himself diseased, he cannot help. So the same boy, if he went to another mature devotee and told him, hey, I feel very sleepy in the class, you see, because early morning we got up. First question he will ask him, hey, what time you slept in the night? Night it became 11 o'clock. What were you doing? I say, baat kar raha tha. I'm talking to other devotees. Come on, you have to sleep at 9:30. If you sleep early, then you won't feel sleepy in the college. You should get 6 hours of sleep. See, our voice has such wonderful regulation standards. If you don't follow the standards, then you will suffer, they will say. Take care, I'll try, he will say. But then the whole morning program becomes burden, Prabhu. What do you think? It's not a burden, it is bliss. It seems to be a burden. Why? Because you didn't get enough sleep. If you got enough sleep, you will feel it blissful. And it is a power-packed program in the morning. It's an investment. In fact, you can do triple times better than karmis. Because your intelligence is sharpened, mind is cleaned, you have no material anxieties, all the ropes that tie you, pin you down to the ground, they are all torn asunder, and you can fly on a transcendental platform by practicing the morning program. And we are getting the best program for body, mind and soul, for all the three. In this way we are getting an engineering degree and also a bhakta degree of being a devotee. Both we are getting. So we are becoming engineer rishi, simultaneously doing engineering also and shastric study also. So don't feel it's a burden. When you take good rest and when you do things very dutifully, you'll feel happy. Like that he will advise you. So if your friend you think is more mature than you and he can help you, you can take help. But if you think he also is not sufficiently mature, don't ask for help from him. Reveal your mind in confidence to somebody more senior who can help you. And it will be better. So thank you for your brilliant questions. I am sure others also would have appreciated your questions. And as I told you, now one more class I'll be spending to cover the topic of dealing with non-devotees, which is very important for us. So with that, this series of lectures on dealings will be over. So this whole semester we have devoted time for this. Please understand the importance of this dealings, because you all are living in voice, and it's a great fortune to live with devotees. One devotee is more precious than all the wealth and all the material worlds put together. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that a devotee is the rarest commodity in the whole creation. The rarest species is Vaishnava species. And we are not living with one or two, we are living with 20, 25, 30 such devotees. So my intention in covering these topics was that we will learn the art of dealing with guru and seniors and juniors and equals and upcoming new devotees and non-devotees and all these things. Because dealing forms a major part of our life, dealing with different types of people. And if you know proper dealing, we will not have interpersonal clashes. And if there are no clashes, we can live peacefully. And we can focus on Krishna consciousness, and we will make great progress. Because when Vaishnava aparathas are committed, they become a big stumbling block. Not only in this life, many lifetimes. So I hope these classes were helpful to you. And if any of you found anything interesting and helpful and you applied it, I would consider my life successful. And this book is available in all our voices. This Vaishnava behavior and 26 qualities of a devotee. And you can ask your project manager to see this copy if you wish. And if you go through this on Vaishnava behavior chapter, in case you want to delve deeper and contemplate and understand, you can do that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.